Here's a realization I had that completely transformed my life and has the ability to help you transform yours as well. The version of you that got you to where you're at today will not get you to where you want to go. Why? Because where you feel stuck in life, whether it's your health, finances, relationships, or business, is a sum total of your patterns and habits creating every result in your life. And all of that stems from your identity, who you believe you are. So if you don't change, your results don't either. Today, I'm going to break down the 3 steps to help you reinvent yourself and get out of your own way. The first step to change is always awareness, and I have a free resource to help you get started. You can click the link below and take the life assessment or visit my website, but that's where we are going to begin. You can't change what you're unconscious of, what you're not aware of. So this is where we have to begin, awareness. And what this really means is becoming self-aware, because the more self-aware you are of the thoughts you're thinking and the emotional states you're living from, now you step out of the program that's running on autopilot unconsciously, and you can start observing it. When you're observing it, it means you're no longer in the program and it's no longer running you. So for example, if you've been stuck living in high stress, fear, self-doubt, dwelling on the past, procrastination, being inconsistent, or numbing out on vices, that version of you is what's created every current result. If you don't have wanted results, you have to become aware of those thoughts and emotional states driving your habits in order for you to change them. Start paying attention to the stories you tell. You live into the stories you tell, and how I like to think about it is life is a self-fulfilling prophecy. Whatever you think about and speak about, you bring about. So think about it. Are you talking about how hard making money is, or getting a job, or dating in relationships, or losing weight, or fill in the blank? Your beliefs are creating your perceptions, and your perceptions are blocking potential opportunities for the very things that you seek. So this is where we begin. Become aware of the 3 things that are driving every result in your life. You have to become aware of those thoughts you're thinking. And here's the thing. You have somewhere between 60 to 70,000 thoughts every single day. You could never monitor all of them, but here's the good news. 90% of your daily thoughts are in repeat from yesterday. So that first step in creating change is becoming aware of the patterns, becoming aware of your patterns of thought, becoming aware of the patterns of the emotions you live in. Stress, frustration, boredom, overwhelm, analyzing, and becoming aware of those habits. So here's where and these 3 combined are what is creating every current result in every major life bucket. So here's where you have to begin and pay attention, because most people are stuck in disempowering. So let's write this down. Most people are stuck in disempowering thoughts. You're telling stories of what you don't want and what's not working. But whatever you think about and speak about, you're actually perpetuating more of what you don't want. So if you're stuck in disempowering stories and beliefs, that's why you're living in stress and fear and doubt and overwhelm. And those low vibe emotional states are what's driving your habits and why you procrastinate, or you're inconsistent, or you're dwelling on the past and numbing out on vices. That's it. These 3 things are then creating your results, and all of that just reinforces who you think you are, your identity. So an easier way to say this is simple. Your identity creates your reality. And if you don't like your current results, you have to change the root cause, which we are going to dive into. But this is where you have to begin. Now, I also want to bring in the idea of your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is your OS. It is your operating system. And 95% of your day is run by your subconscious mind. So here you have 5%. Your conscious mind. Goals, wishes, desires, intentions. That's great. At least you have some clarity. But the 95% that's driving the show is your subconscious mind. And most people are unaware of what's driving their thoughts, their emotions, and their habits because you're living life on autopilot. And until you interrupt these patterns and start becoming more aware of them, and then more importantly, we're gonna get into this in step 3, start rewiring that identity, nothing changes. So 95% driving the show is your subconscious mind. Now your subconscious mind was formed through repetition, and much of this happened at a very young age. So you learn from culture and environment and community and family and experiences what you now believe to be true about health, finances, relationships, success, other people, etc. So the thing is, much of your subconscious programming isn't even yours. It's something you inherited through other people. So if you don't have results that you want, this is why you have to become aware of the subconscious so you can choose, no, I don't choose to believe that. And when you start questioning things, now you have the power to rewire what's driving everything, okay? So your subconscious mind, we like to think of it as the OS, the operating system. And your subconscious mind, which is based in identity, your self-image, it also holds your beliefs, the emotional states, memories, and other people's beliefs. So think of it like your smartphone. How often does your smartphone update? Mine does it fairly often, multiple times a year. But when is the last time you updated or upgraded your beliefs, became aware of what's going on underneath the surface, started becoming aware and changing the emotional states you live from? Maybe never, but that's what we're getting into today. Because when you become aware and then we start shifting what's going on internally, you start getting wanted results. So now that we've uncovered the first step to creating change, which is always awareness, you have to become aware of what's going on internally if you want to shift what's going on externally. The second step to creating change in your life is always an aim. You need clarity, which I find most people lack. And if you lack clarity, you can only stay stuck drifting, going through life, or allowing other people to decide your fate. So now let's get into that second step, which is creating a clear aim. And this is where I want you to come up with one area of life in which you are seeking change. Because here's the thing. When you change, everything improves for the better. All of those major life buckets begin shifting because the root cause, you and your identity, is changing. So let's write this down. The second step to creating change is always aim. So I want you to get clear. One area of life in which you are seeking change. So whether it's your health, and this could be physical or mental, maybe it's happiness, maybe it's lose weight, maybe it's your finances. Big one I see with clients is relationships. Maybe it's business, you want to grow it, start it, whatever that may be. Get really clear on one area of life in which you are seeking change. And then I'm going to break down how you start shifting that internal state on how you reinvent yourself and shift the identity you operate from. Because when you change, so do your results. No vague results here, right? Well, I want to make more money. You could literally find a penny on the ground, and that is more money. I want to lose weight. Well, like how much? An ounce? 20 pounds? 4 dress sizes? What are you looking for? What do you want to better? So you need a clear, specific, tangible goal. So here's where we want clear and specific. Now remember what I shared earlier. That's 5% of your conscious mind. So by getting clear on what we want, goals in our life, we are using 5% the conscious mind. But remember, 95% your subconscious mind are what drives your daily thoughts, the emotional state you're living from, and it's your thoughts and emotions that then drive your habits and create your results. And the reason most people stay stuck is they're trying to create change externally, surface level, habits, willpower, motivation. Maybe I just need more discipline. And all of that fades because you're not getting to the root cause. But this is exactly what I coach my clients through, because when you get to the OS, the operating system, the identity, and you shift that, now you stop working against yourself. So now we have clarity, we know what we want, we've become aware of our thoughts and beliefs and habits and patterns that aren't serving us. So how do you close the gap from where you are to the life you want to be living? This is where step number 3 comes into play. Step number 3 is all about the daily application. And the reason I really emphasize daily here is, remember, the subconscious mind is formed through repetition and consistency. Think about healthy habits that you have. You brush your teeth every day. You shower every day. You make your bed every day. There's things that you have to do every day is kind of like maintenance. So think of it like maintenance. But if you're not where you want to be, then it requires that daily application to first upgrade it, and then secondly, to maintain it. Because if you're not intentional and you don't stay self-aware, you can only and always default back to that old state of being. So let's look at it like this. Where you currently are, this is version 1.0. This is current version of you. The thoughts you've been thinking, those stress, fear, doubt, being inconsistent, procrastinating, this is where you're currently at. But where you want to be, and now that you've created a clear aim on what you want, it requires a reinvention or a new version of you. So let's think of this like version 2.0. So once you're clear on what you want and you're aware on who you've been, you need to get really clear on what this version of you looks like, how they think, the emotional states they're living from, the habits they have. Because when you align all of those and you get not only your conscious, but now your subconscious mind in alignment, what you want becomes inevitable, because your results are always a byproduct based on who you are being. So let's write this out. Let's kind of brainstorm what this looks like. So if the current version of you has been living in stress, self-doubt, maybe it's fear, dwelling on the past, you're inconsistent, you procrastinate, you're doom scrolling, you're numbing out on vices, right? This version of you has created unwanted results in those major life buckets. So it's nearly the opposite of all of that. So version 2.0 of you would be confident. First of all, they have clarity. Clarity is everything, because when you have a clear aim, now you create forward focus and momentum on where you want to go. So this new version of you has clarity, they're confident, they're consistent, your emotional states, you feel more empowered, so you're empowered, you're mentally and emotionally disciplined because you're self-aware. You're living in different emotional states. You're grateful, you're happy, you're optimistic. And so now you're no longer working really hard or relying on motivation to create your habits, because your habits become a natural byproduct based on who you are being. Being consistent is just who you are. You're no longer wasting time being distracted and numbing out on vices. You're seizing the day, right? You're You're not wasting your precious time because you're clear on where you want to go. Maybe you're waking up earlier. Maybe you're busy meal prepping and you're being more active and getting outdoors. Maybe it's that you're socializing and networking, or you're going on dates. You're using your time more wisely. But look at this. Somebody who's stressed out, in doubt, fear, dwelling on the past, inconsistent, and numbing out on vices, versus somebody who has clarity, who is confident, consistent, feeling empowered, mentally, emotionally disciplined. They're grateful and they're optimistic. Number one, they're going to be a whole lot more fun to be around. But the energetic signature that you create as this version of you is what you're putting out. Life is a boomerang. What you put out, you get back. This version of you is going to see opportunities. This version of you is going to take action. This version of you is grateful because you woke up to yet another day. So in order to close the gap from where you are to where you want to be, it comes down to the daily application. So how do you do this? What I've really explained here is the what and the who, but how? How do you do this? You have to spend time each day being intentional. You can do this through breath work, meditation, journaling, mentally rehearsing. And the prime opportunity for you to do that is first thing in the morning when you are naturally in theta brainwave state. Why? Theta brainwave state is how you access the subconscious mind. And when you're spending time thinking and feeling as this new version of you, you are thinking and feeling confident. You are thinking and feeling empowered. You are thinking and feeling how grateful you are for this amazing life you live. And that's what you're rehearsing. Your subconscious mind and doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. It now accepts this is who I am. This is the version of me. And then once you spend time each morning installing and rehearsing that new identity, you then have to live as that, embody that version of you throughout your day, getting your behaviors to match your intentions. And when you align this, now you have 100% of your mental power, not only your conscious mind, but your subconscious mind on board. And then those desired results become inevitable because it's based on who you are being. So to sum this whole idea up, remember, it's your identity that creates your reality. And until you change how you are operating through self-awareness, then getting really clear despite where you are, what you actually want, and you apply these frameworks every single day by mentally rehearsing this new identity, you now have reinvented yourself and you get new outcomes. Let me know what questions you have. Be sure to drop them down below in the comment box. Thanks for watching today's video. Be sure to subscribe to my channel so you're the first to know when new videos drop, and give me a thumbs up. I'll catch you on the next one.